Diaries of a Mad Woman, just pushing her bike through the desert. Okay, you guys, I can't say it enough. I don't know what I would do if I hadn't met Gerald at Upstate Cycles. This deal that's going on with the Xtrainer and the X Pro, both of them just like stopped working in Arizona. If you haven't been watching this series called The Arizona Curse, you should. But basically, the Xtrainer's in a bajillion pieces. I can't figure out why it's not running. It idles perfect, sounds incredible, and then it just shuts up. Like there's a cutoff somewhere inside the electronics, I think. That just makes it sound like the second you twist the throttle, it doesn't matter how many RPMs it is, the second the throttle opens, the whole thing shuts off. So that I've said that, it does kind of sound like a throttle position sensor, but Gerald says it's not because it wouldn't have sounded the same. So instead, he pulled an ECU off of one of his bikes in South Carolina. A South Carolina dealer pulled an ECU off of one of his bikes and shipped it to me to test, not even to buy. To test. I don't know what I would do. So that's where we are now. I'm swapping out the ECU, and then Gerald also sent me a new map switch to replace as well, in addition to the ECU, just in case that might be the case. And in that first video of the Arizona Curse, we also discovered that my petcock inside the gas tank was broken, so they went ahead and sent me a new one of those to replace as well. And then it was time to test our luck. It needs gas. Just kidding. Just kidding. Take two. Of course the battery would be dead. Secret door to Narnia. Boogity boogity boo.
Can you reach it?
Is it supposed to be somewhere where I can reach it? Thanks, Sam. Cool. All right, we're back in action. It's gonna be the Xtrainer's first ride since we put the ECU in. It's gonna be the test ride to see if that's the answer. But while we're out here, I'm also gonna be testing a different mounting option on the Insta360. I just made it a lot simpler than my old setup, which was like on the fender with the sport clamp. It was a big process versus this is really simple. It's just the U-mount bolt kit on the handlebars, Insta360 on there. It's at a slight angle. We'll see how it goes. I'm dragging Ben out into the windy tundra of California right now. Woo! We're just gonna do some laps up and down Easy Up. We went for like a 3-hour bike ride yesterday with this 20 mile per hour wind out there. You'll see it when we're out there, but it was intense. So we're just gonna go out there for like an hour, make sure the bike runs and everything, and we'll go from there. So let's go out there. So on my way out to Easy Up, we rode some single track to get out there, really just get warmed up, started in some flow, and then moved into some rocky technical sections. We went through our little turn track, but I was noticing that I was really struggling with some power delivery on the bike. This Xtrainer has a 10mm master cylinder on it. Normally it has a 9mm on it, but I actually put that 9mm on the X Pro when I went to Arizona. I'm gonna leave it on there since that's gonna be my new hard enduro bike, and this Xtrainer is gonna go to Minnesota and become more of a trail bike. So with that in mind, I was really struggling with the clutch. Like I felt like I was having a hard time building power, releasing power, and just getting adapted to the new kind of setup on the Xtrainer. I miss my X Pro. But I feel way faster on it. Something's funky. I can't tell what it is. I feel like maybe my clutch isn't bled all the way, or I don't know. All right, I just tested the Beta Xtrainer out on Easy Up and I lost my skid plate, and I ended up, the only way I could bring it back was I tied it to my NSX strap because all the zip ties kept breaking, and it made it, which is insane. So NSX is not just for picking your bike up. So that happened on my way going down the canyon. Once I started going up the canyon, I started having problems. The power problem really became very obvious to me. The bike was constantly trying to die. I had to work and grind that clutch so much just to keep the bike running. You might be able to hear it in the video, but the second I noticed it, I said it out loud to myself. I said, I don't like how this sounds. Anyway, it doesn't sound awesome. So I ended up doing 2 full laps on Easy Up. I went down it, lost the skid plate, went up, started noticing some power struggles, went down it again, everything was fine, and then once I went up, that's what you're watching now when I said, I don't like how this sounds, and I was just getting a really bad feeling from everything that was happening, from noticing clutch problems just on flowy single track to not liking how the bike is feeling now. I said to Ben, like, we gotta head back. Like, I don't like how this feels. Diaries of a Mad Woman, just pushing her bike through the desert. My camera ran out of storage 2 minutes before the bike died on the trail. So I don't have any video. Times 2, second time it's happened, I don't have any video of what it sounded like or what happened, but once again, clipping along, I was in 4th gear and it just stopped. Like, don't worry, Ben came back to my rescue with a tow strap to bring me on home. How was that, Ben?
Fun.
Your first tow vehicle experience.
That was interesting.
At least you were the tower and not the towee.
Pretty fun.
And to think, through it all, the only thing that survived that entire ride was the NSX strap holding the SXS plate on. So after that walk of shame, I jumped on the phone with Magnus from Upstate Cycles, and we went through all of the electronics with a voltmeter. Our next stop guesses were going to be the voltage regulator and also the stator. So the battery tested at 13.38 volts, and when I cranked the throttle, there was no change. Although once it did drop down to 9 volts, which in theory, if there's not enough voltage, electronics start crapping out, which would explain why 2 different ECUs did 2 different results. So I tested the voltage regulator, and while we were pulling it apart, we saw a little bit of corrosion, but Magnus said it was nothing to be concerned about. So we did a voltage regulator swap from the X Pro to the Xtrainer. There was no change with the new voltage regulator. Bike was still doing all the same stuff. So Magnus called me the next day after talking to Gerald, and the new idea they came up with was maybe the battery is bad. And that's why the volts dropped down so low and why the battery died in the garage. So we swapped out the battery, put a new voltage regulator in, still no dice. So then I put the voltmeter on the battery and the starter solenoid, and everything checked out fine there to check out the stator. And ultimately, the conclusion we came to was the voltage regulator seems to be working just fine since there was no change from swapping the voltage regulators out. So we put the ECU from the X Pro onto the Xtrainer, bike started right back up again, did everything normal. After all of this testing and confirming all of the potential suspects that might fry an ECU and confirming that none of them were in fact frying my ECU, we went ahead and shipped another ECU with the thought process that maybe I just got a bad ECU right out of the gate, since my luck has really proven that that could in fact be the case. So I went ahead, reassembled the Xtrainer, put the new ECU in, and it was time to take the bike out for yet another test ride. And the bike made it! We didn't have any issues yet. Em and I went to go work this double ledgy section since the Moab Hard Enduro is coming up next week, and I'm racing the pro women's class. We decided to step up my training up a notch. If that's something you're interested in seeing what I'm doing to prepare for the race, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next series of videos coming out that'll be labeled Moab Hard Enduro or something clever. If you guessed correctly that the ECU was the problem on the Xtrainer, make sure to drop your celebratory victory screeches in the comments down below. If you like this video, please make sure to like and share. It helps keep me motivated to make more Fungi Reality TV, and I'll see you on the next one.